Today's headlines. ASEAN leaders under the chairmanship of President Rodrigo Duterte sign a consensus to protect the rights of migrant workers. The Department of Health welcomes the lifting of the temporary restraining order on the issuance of contraceptives. Government agencies sign an agreement with Facebook to build a high-speed internet infrastructure. Pinoy rock icon Joey Pepe Smith is in stable condition after suffering from his third stroke. Good day, I'm Pia Roses Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte and leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations signed a consensus on the protection and promotion of the rights of migrant workers at the 31st ASEAN Summit. Duterte, as this year's ASEAN chairman, presented the signed document to ASEAN Secretary General Lee Long-min during the closing ceremony of the ASEAN Summit. The consensus aims to uphold fair treatment of migrant workers across the region and establish cooperation in safeguarding the interests and welfare of thousands of workers. The declaration seeks to promote a decent, humane, productive, dignified, and remunerative employment for migrant workers and acknowledge the need to address cases of abuse and violence against them. Among its provisions include prohibiting employers from confiscating their employees' passports and allowing workers to join unions. This is in line with the Declaration on the Protection and Promotion of the Rights of Migrant Workers, which ASEAN adopted in January 2007. The summit ended on Tuesday in a ceremony where the Philippines passed on the ASEAN chairmanship to Singapore. President Rodrigo Duterte is keen on discussing the advancement of bilateral relations with China. The president met with Chinese Premier Li Keqiang in an expanded bilateral meeting in Malacanang as part of the latter's official visit. Duterte announced a positive turnaround and vigorous momentum of the Philippines-China relations gained through mutual trust and confidence building. He said he is eager to discuss with Premier Li functional cooperation in key areas such as trade, agriculture, education, science and technology, and people-to-people exchanges. The president also noted that Premier Li's visit is the first visit of a Chinese premier to Manila in 10 years. Premier Li, meanwhile, expressed hopes that two countries will continue to work together as they face the task of growing the economies and improving people's lives. Li noted that China has become the Philippines' top trading partner after the first 10 months of this year. The Chinese premier also noted that the practical cooperation between the Philippines and China has been going strong as well. Li said the Chinese government will provide 150 million RMB yuan of grants for the rebuilding and improvement of livelihood in Marawi to demonstrate the support of the Chinese people. He also expressed full confidence in the rebuilding of Marawi under Duterte's leadership. The Philippines and the United States have committed to strengthen dialogues to optimize the country's position as a preferred destination for American investments. In a joint statement from the Department of Foreign Affairs, President Rodrigo Duterte and President Donald Trump discussed ways to expand on their mutual commitment to free, fair, and balanced trade. It said the two leaders pledged to nurture economic ties, including private sector cooperation, to create jobs and opportunities for people in both countries. They also recognized the importance of regular discussions under the U.S.-Philippines Trade and Investment Framework Agreement to strengthen trade relationships. Washington, meanwhile, welcomed the Philippines' interest in a bilateral free trade agreement. The Department of Health has considered as lifted a Supreme Court temporary restraining order on the use of 2 subdermal contraceptive implants. The Food and Drug Administration issued a resolution clearing 51 contraceptives as non-abortifacient. These included the subdermal implants Implanon and Implanon NXT. Undersecretary for Health Regulation Dr. Mario Villaverde said manufacturers of the contraceptive products whose certificates of product registration have expired due to the TRO could now reapply. The Supreme Court in June 2015 issued a TRO on Implanon and Implanon NXT after the Alliance for the Family Foundation Philippines Incorporated filed a case claiming that they cause abortion. Meanwhile, Esperanza Cabral, head of Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Implementation Team, said the team should recommend the release of the implants so that they would be issued to women who need them. The 51 contraceptives include pills, injectables, and intrauterine devices. President Rodrigo Duterte admitted that he was offended by questions raised by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on his war on illegal drugs. Trudeau had raised concerns over allegations of extrajudicial killings and human rights violations in the administration's anti-drug campaign. At the end of the ASEAN summit, Duterte said that he saw Trudeau's question as a personal and official insult. He said he would not explain about the issue and would only answer to the Filipino people. Duterte also urged Trudeau to investigate first the incidents behind extrajudicial killings instead of merely citing information from critics. Relationships between the U.S. and the Philippines earlier soured when U.S. President Barack Obama criticized Duterte's war on drugs. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency reported the arrest of a top Colombian drug mule as he attempted to enter the country. 67-year-old drug mule Alberto Pedraza Quijano was arrested at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Quijano had swallowed 79 rubber pellets containing suspected cocaine worth a total of 8.9 million pesos before boarding his flight to Manila. The Bureau of Immigration, or BI, was tipped off about this arrival by the United States Homeland Security investigation. Quijano was reportedly a frequent flyer to the Philippines. Authorities are now looking for Quijano's contact in the country. Meanwhile, Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente lauded the coordinated participation of the Drug Interdiction Task Group, or DITG, in the successful interception and arrest of Quijano. The DITG is composed of the PDEA, the BI, the Bureau of Customs, the National Bureau of Investigation, the PNP Aviation Security Group, the NAIA Airport Police, and the Office of Transportation Security. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology signed a memorandum of agreement to conduct drug clearing operations in all city and municipal jails in the country. Aside from clearing operations, PDEA and the BJMP will classify jails to determine which ones should be subjected to immediate drug clearing operations. Jails will be classified by the severity of the existence of drug-related personalities and activities. The agreement also led to the adoption of parameters in declaring jails as cleared of drugs, such as non-availability of drug supply, absence of drug smuggling activity, absence of drug pushers and users, and the existence of drug awareness campaigns. PDEA also renewed its partnership with the Bureau of Corrections to prevent illegal drug activities inside prison facilities. The agreement allows PDEA to have its own office inside Bucor facilities. It also authorizes PDEA to conduct clearing operations and ensure intelligence sharing and investigation efforts with Bucor. Still to come, Major General Benjamin Madrigal Jr. takes over the Eastern Mindanao Command. Government agencies sign an agreement with Facebook to build a high-speed internet infrastructure. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
(7,641 islands, over 104 million hearts of gold, home to stunning beaches, emerald rice fields, and captivating smiles make up this year's ASEAN Chairmanship. The Philippines. As one of ASEAN's founding fathers, the Philippines is greatly honored to chair ASEAN this 2017 during ASEAN's 50th anniversary. With this year's theme, Partnering for Change, Engaging the World, the Philippines championed positive change in the lives of ordinary citizens within and outside the region through 6 thematic priorities, advancing ASEAN community building, people-oriented, people-centered ASEAN, After years of negotiations, ASEAN has finally reached a consensus on how to better promote and protect the rights of migrant workers. ASEAN will provide them with better social protection, easier access to justice and health services, more humane and fair treatment, among other things, peace and stability in the region. To ensure that people will continuously live peacefully in the region, ASEAN has elevated its commitment to counter and eradicate violent extremism and radicalization so that families could live without fear of violence in their communities. Maritime security and cooperation. With the completion of the framework of the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea between ASEAN and China, the two sides will start the negotiations on the COC, which should help effectively resolve tensions and potential conflicts in the South China Sea. ASEAN and China have also agreed to cooperate to protect coastal and marine environment in the South China Sea. This will help ensure the preservation and sustainability of resources at sea for food security and for the benefit of the fishing communities that rely on them for livelihood. Inclusive, innovation-led growth. ASEAN remains resilient and dynamic in forging ahead with regional economic integration and free trade agreements with important external partners. ASEAN will help MSMEs integrate in the global value chain and promote inclusive business to represent the interests of women, youth, and underserved sectors. ASEAN will encourage and reward innovative firms and businesses that generate employment opportunities and harness science, technology, and innovation for sustainable development. ASEAN's resiliency. The resilience of ASEAN citizens has been tested numerous times during natural calamities and disasters. Now, ASEAN will strengthen the coordination and collaboration among relevant sectoral bodies and their partners in enhancing the capacities of ASEAN member states in responding to disaster health situations. ASEAN, a model of regionalism, a global player. 50 years of the ASEAN Way and its unique brand of regionalism has transformed Southeast Asia into a region of peace, stability, and prosperity. ASEAN will continue to take active part in shaping regional and international developments through the ASEAN-led mechanisms and its partnerships with other stakeholders within and outside the region. Over 250 meetings. As the Philippines' ASEAN chairmanship comes to a close, we look back to a meaningful year with fruitful results. The journey of Philippines' chairmanship of ASEAN 2017 ends here. But the work doesn't stop. The next 50 years will show an ASEAN that continues to provide for the good of the people and of the region. ASEAN will engage the world with a unified voice, singular action, and an affirmed pursuit towards peace, stability, and prosperity. We can all be partners in generating positive change in the lives of our citizens. I am ASEAN. This is my home. This is my future. This is our future. Together. ASEAN 2017. Partnering for change. Engaging the world.
The government has signed a landing partner agreement that will build an ultra-high-speed information highway that will improve broadband internet connections throughout the country. The agreement was signed by the Department of Information and Communications Technology, the Bases Conversion and Development Authority, and Facebook. Under the agreement, Facebook will construct and operate the submarine cable system originating from the United States, crossing the Pacific Ocean to Luzon and then onwards to Hong Kong. DICT will operate and maintain the facility and bring the bandwidth to the last mile. Finally, BCDA will build the Luzon Bypass Infrastructure, or LBI, that will provide a terrestrial bypass route to international submarine cable owners. Facebook will provide the government a bandwidth of 2 million Mbps in exchange for using the LBI. Using the infrastructure will also reduce government spending for internet from $100 per Mbps to $1. Among the areas that stand to benefit from this is Clark and New Clark City, which are under the stewardship of BCDA. The system will provide speeds comparable to that of Singapore, Japan, and South Korea, which will be faster, cheaper, and more accessible to all. Major General Benjamin Madrigal Jr. assumed as the new Eastern Mindanao Command Commander Wednesday, replacing now Armed Forces Chief of Staff General Rey Leonardo Guerrero. The East MINCOM leadership was formally turned over at the change of command ceremony at the Naval Forces Eastern Mindanao Command Covered Court. Madrigal is a member of PMA Sandiwa class of 1985. The new EMC commander was previously assigned as the Chief of Southern Luzon Command. He was also the former commander of the Philippine Army's 4th Infantry Division based in Camp Evangelista, Cagayan de Oro City. The mission-focused leader, Madrigal, will be taking the responsibility of sustaining the peace and prevention of terrorism in Davao Region, Caraga Region, parts of Northern Mindanao Region, and Southern Mindanao Region. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources in Western Visayas has declared a 3-month closed fishing season starting last Wednesday in the Visayan Sea. The fishing ban will allow for the spawning of sardines, herrings, and mackerels. BFAR Region 6 had coordinated with local government units to make sure that fisher folk would allow the 3-month fishing ban until February 2018. Violators will be slapped with a 6,000 peso fine, imprisonment of 6 months to 6 years, and forfeiture of the catch and cancellation of fishing permits or license. Despite the closed season, BFAR assured that the fish supply in the region would not be affected. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio and Taguig City Mayor Lani Cayetano visit Marawi City as it undergoes its rehabilitation. The mayors went to Malutlot Elementary School before making a short trip to the Marawi City Hall. They also visited St. Mary's Cathedral, which was in the main battle area during the battle against the mounted terrorists. They offered flowers, candles, and prayers for those who died and were affected by the months-long conflict. Duterte, Carpio, and Cayetano visited Marawi on behalf of the Tapang at Malasakit Alliance for the Philippines, which will be assessing intervention that it can provide to the city. The displaced residents have slowly returned to Marawi as military forces continue clearing operations alongside recovery efforts from the government's side. Up next, Pinoy rock icon Joey Pepe Smith is in stable condition after suffering from his 3rd stroke. Open water swimmer Ingemar Macarine prepares to attempt to cross the English Channel. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Mga negosyanteng Moro ng ukay-ukay nais ibalik ang sigla ng kanilang negosyo sa Zamboanga City.
Ang ukay-ukay o segunda mano ay sumikat noong dekada 80 at 90. Ang salitang ukay ay mula sa salitang Cebuano na ang ibig sabihin pagbungkal o paghukay. Bukod sa Baguio City, ang Zamboanga City ay kilala rin sa pagbebenta ng ukay-ukay. Ang mga kapatid nating Moro na Tausug, Sama at Maranao ang may-ari ng mga tindahan ng ukay roon. Ilan sa kanila ay namana pa ang negosyong ito mula sa kanilang mga magulang. Pero ayon sa Republic Act 4653, ipinagbabawal ang pagbebenta ng second-hand na mga gamit. Ipinagtibay ito noong 1996, ilang dekada bago pa tawagin itong ukay-ukay. Marami sa kapatid nating negosyanteng Muslim sa Zamboanga City at mga tumatangkilik ng ukay-ukay ang nagnanais na isaalang-alang at timbangin muli ang batas na ito. Kaya may mga mambabatas ang nagmungkahi sa legalidad nito. Ito ang House Bill 4055 noong 14th Congress na nais magbigay ng dagdag trabaho sa mga Pilipino.
Ako po si Princess Habiba Saripaudak at ito ang Salam News Daily. Abangan ang iba pa naming kwento at pagtalakay sa aming tradisyon, kultura at relihiyon sa Salam TV tuwing linggo alas 8:30 ng gabi sa PTV.
Carlo Peñalosa took home the WBC Asia Silver Flyweight title after subduing fellow Cebuano Salatiel Amit in the headliner of Battle of Palawan Night of Champions at the Puerto Princesa City Coliseum. The nephew of boxing legend Jerry Peñalosa took charge late in the 10-round main event of the key highlight of the 55th Oriental and Pacific Boxing Convention. The match started slowly until round 5 when Carlo Peñalosa became aggressive up to round 9. Amit, however, never wavered and even put one final push right in the final round. Peñalosa won via split decision. Meanwhile, former IBF Youth Flyweight champion Robert Ongocan fell prey to virtual unknown Jeronil Bores in the co-main event. The La Trinidad-based Butuan native scored an upset win over the Binyan-based Pug via majority decision to take home the Asian Boxing Federation Flyweight title. Pinoy rock legend Joey Pepe Smith is now in stable condition after suffering a stroke Tuesday night. The 70-year-old Smith was rushed to the Metro Antipolo Medical Center when he showed signs of having a stroke. Doctors said his condition was not as bad as before. This is the third time the musician suffered a stroke. He suffered one in April 2015 and another last July, which resulted in a speech impediment that affected his singing. He is still, however, able to perform. Smith is supposed to headline a tribute concert on November 18 at the Amoranto Stadium, which is also expected to mark his retirement. About 40 bands will perform Smith's greatest hits. Organizers are now discussing whether the concert will push through. Marathon swimmer Ingemar Macarine, also known as the Pinoy Aquaman, plans to add to his accomplishments by swimming through the English Channel. He, however, said this will be his last attempt. Here is a report.
Lawyer Ingemar Macarine, also known as the Pinoy Aquaman, is busy preparing for the biggest challenge this fall in the United Kingdom. He intends to cross the English Channel in August 2018 and finally make history for open water sport in the Philippines. Macarine gained popularity after TV networks and other media outlets documented his exploits as the only man in the country indulged in open water swimming. Last August, he attempted to cross the English Channel and covered a distance of 4 kilometers, only to stop due to bad weather. The attempt next year will be his last. Macarine said the cost of the boat charter during an attempt is about 200,000 pesos. He also said he has occasional asthma and hypertension. The English Channel is the Mount Everest summit for all open water swimmers. No Filipino has been able to swim across the 21-mile distance across the English Channel. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
A low-pressure area developed southeast of Hinatuan, Surigao del Sur. Pag-asa says the low-pressure area is affecting Caraga, northern Mindanao, Zamboanga Peninsula, Davao Region, ARMM, Socsargen, and central and eastern Visayas. These areas can expect cloudy skies with scattered to widespread rains and thunderstorms. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon will bring isolated light rains and over Ilocos Region, Cordillera, and Cagayan Valley. Here now is the weather forecast for the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's headlines. ASEAN leaders under the chairmanship of President Rodrigo Duterte signed a consensus to protect the rights of migrant workers. The Department of Health welcomes the lifting of the temporary restraining order on the issuance of contraceptives. Government agencies signed an agreement with Facebook to build a high-speed internet infrastructure. Pinoy rock icon Joey Pepe Smith is in stable condition after suffering from his third stroke. The holidays are coming soon. It's 39 days before Christmas. For more stories, please log on to www.pna.gov.ph or visit the PNA page on Facebook and Twitter. On behalf of the staff and crew, thank you for joining us in the first month of our broadcast. Please continue making a habit of getting your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.